This week, we check in with Southern Arizona's largest private employer, Raytheon Missile Systems. The company went through a number of changes this year, including a new president and a much publicized merger. I spoke with new president Wes Kramer to learn more about the company's future in Tucson. Wes Kramer took the reins at Raytheon Missile Systems in late March, putting him in charge of a company that employs more than 13,000 people and did more than $8 billion in sales last year. In Arizona, the company's annual economic impact tops $2.6 billion. That, according to a report the company commissioned from Arizona State University. As for Kramer, before rising through the ranks at Raytheon, he served 11 years as a weapons system officer in the Air Force. You were in the backseat of F-111s, F-15s. Interesting position now to be at the top of the company making a lot of the weapons. Does that change how you think about your job?
Well, I think I've always had that focus since I started out my career in the Air Force to try to always think about it from the warfighter perspective, and to now be in this position of leading a large organization and of primarily delivering weapons that go to our warfighters, I think it does give me a unique perspective on that.
In addition to developing missiles, Kramer is eager to advance Raytheon's ballistic missile defense systems, like its kill vehicles, designed to collide with and destroy long-range ballistic missiles in space, something Kramer likens to the type of technology President Ronald Reagan first called for more than 35 years ago.
I call upon the scientific community in our country, those who gave us nuclear weapons, to turn their great talents now to the cause of mankind and world peace.
Since President Reagan made his famous speech in the 80s around creating a missile defense shield, a lot of that activity has been here. The next new wave is hypersonics, and we talked a little bit about, that's weapons that travel, faster than Mach 5 or 5 times the speed of sound. The next generation of stuff, you go from where we are today to Mach 5, is then eventually to getting to speed of light weapons. So lasers, high-powered microwaves, of course, cyber happens at the speed of light. All of those things like that are also areas where we're investing and where we're winning programs and developing new and exciting technologies.
Kramer will also have an elevated role when Raytheon completes its merger with United Technologies, an aerospace company based in Connecticut. He'll serve as president of Integrated Defense and Missile Systems after the merger closes, which is expected sometime next year. A lot of people got worried that Raytheon could go away. Is that a valid concern?
No, Raytheon's not going away. We have such a large base here of not only employees but facilities and investment. And so, there will be an upcoming decision about where the headquarters goes, but the headquarters is not a large number of jobs. The core competency of what we do here in Tucson will remain in Tucson regardless of those decisions.
The merger hasn't led Raytheon Missile Systems to put the brakes on expanding in Tucson. It plans for growth, including hiring 1,000 new employees in the coming years and continuing to build new facilities.
Over the past several years, we're in the process of making about $550 million worth of capital investments, and it includes 7 new buildings on campus, relocation of a new substation to provide power to this part of campus, and really it's a part of our growth here of needs basis for all these new employees and all these new programs.
Hiring and retaining qualified employees remains a priority for Raytheon. Its 2018 annual report details the need to successfully recruit new personnel as, quote, a significant percentage of its current workforce is nearing or eligible for retirement. In Tucson, the company's outreach can begin as early as elementary school. Do you have a hard time convincing students that they want to come to a missile company and not to an internet company or something like that?
So, we're not for everybody, right? That's reality. What we do is we do national defense. And we tend to see that the employees that that come here and stay here for a career usually are very patriotic in nature, often have some connection to the military, an aunt, an uncle, a father, a mother, something like that. But the other thing that we do is we really try to connect them to our overall mission statement, which is one global integrated team creating innovative solutions to make the world a safer place.
The company also heavily recruits from Arizona's 3 public universities and Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University in Prescott. We sat down with 3 employees, all who attended college in Arizona and are beginning their careers with Raytheon, including U of A alumni Mari McCarthy and Danny Ibarra, who both work as software engineers and combined have less than 2 years of experience at the company.
I always wanted to work in defense because my cousin who works here also was in the Army.
Originally from Los Angeles, McCarthy was part of a mentorship program in college that paired her with a female Raytheon engineer.
I'm actually a first-generation college student.
Ibarra grew up in Tucson and says STEM-related courses and programs in high school helped guide her toward engineering.
It was until I got to college and started to interact with all the companies and stuff like that where I found what I wanted to do.
Defense contractors wasn't really on my mind at the time when I was in school.
3 years ago, Raytheon recruited Roman Begay at NAU, and after graduating, he moved to its division in Massachusetts before transferring to Tucson several months ago.
It's stuck with me. 2 of my older sisters were in the military.
All spoke optimistically about their experience at the company so far.
I consider my coworkers my family at this point.
And all volunteer their time outside of work in different STEM programs, including at the U of A.
That's where I'm actually being able to coach on and mentor students.
Desert View High School.
Now I'm one of the women that are representing us for the younger age.
And San Javier Mission School.
We're showing these kids that, Native Americans are in these STEM fields, that, they can make it past high school and pursue college careers.
Fostering a sense of service is part of Raytheon's strategy to decrease turnover, according to Kramer.
Our data shows that once an employee has been here 5 years, then we usually keep them for a long time. It's really that first 5 years that's the most critical. So one of the things is to make sure they're engaged not only in work but in the local community.
Where do you see yourself at that 5-year mark, that 10-year mark going down the road?
I still see myself here, looking forward to staying here in Tucson and being closer to home.
I'm planning to start my master's next year in cybersecurity. I'm really interested in trying to use that degree here at missile defense.
Everybody saw how homesick I was in the beginning. They all thought oh, maybe she won't end up staying, but the more I got to know the people I worked with and the more I got to get into my project, I realized that I could stay here and actually make a life in Tucson.